Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
It's Mira Business FM. Jacek Ziomek from XMotors is back. This is another edition of Luxury Breaks from Mira Business FM. Supercars, Hypercars, and more. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Hi, Tim.
Looking well, smelling good, it has to be said. The air is heavy with cologne this morning. There's a lot of testosterone in this room. I don't know if that's a thing. Anyway, doesn't matter. You know, you sent me a text earlier this week, Jacek, and I think it's a really interesting discussion because we talk often about Chinese cars because Chinese cars are everywhere these days.
Yeah,
and, you know,
all the brands. I think the important Chinese brands are presently here.
They are. There are huge numbers of Chinese cars. They're winning the price war. People like them. They're big SUVs. You carry families. Some of them look very cool, I think. So they're everywhere. However, I know you're not overly enthusiastic about Chinese vehicles. Let's put it that way. You have some reservations, and you've been talking to a customer. Am I right? Lives in the US, but has roots in Taiwan and family in Taiwan. Tell us the story first of all.
The story is, he said that China is not showing their real face.
Okay.
They are the government is pushing the companies to approach all the markets and flow them by the cars, all the products. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to do it. There is no choice. It's well known. Okay.
Yeah.
But also there is a difference in trade that's good. Maybe we should not consider him as a proper source because he's from US and his wife is from Taiwan. So they don't like China, so they can act in a different way. But there
may be another motive there because there is that situation, that imbalance.
China, US is selling to China goods worth around $800 billion, right?
Okay.
Annual.
Mm-hmm.
In return, nothing is coming in this value, okay?
Mm-hmm.
As much. Mm. So, he said there is another way because this money is coming back to United States because the Chinese people and companies are buying the real estate plots and businesses there. Okay. But this is not, it's not shown in the statistics.
Yeah, it's not accounted for.
Otherwise, we should have a very weak dollar and a strong yuan, right?
Yeah.
But it means it's not only the automotive is one of the brands which is affected in this way.
Mm.
Of course, like you said, we have all the brands here in the UAE. Okay, we'll see for how long. Okay, it will be success for the while or long term.
That's an interesting point. I mean, that we need time to see that, but we are now starting to see. We've another story to talk about this morning of an Audi corporation in China for the Chinese market, maybe for the international market. We'll talk about that story later. But the other thing is the opinion of your friend, I think, who seems to back up one of the ideas that you put forward, that there's a lack of innovation and there's more. It's a kind of cut and paste, copy and paste kind of way.
Copy paste, it's a one thing, but some things cannot be copy paste. Like we discussed a few weeks ago about the transmissions powertrain.
Mm.
Okay, so you have to a proper R&D. Otherwise, you cannot exchange it by the copy paste.
Well, you can't move forward unless you have research and development. That's the point.
In a simple way,
you can copy a particular powertrain.
You can try to make a reverse engineering, right?
Yeah.
But
no, I get
you can stop in a moment when you face some issues. You don't have a proper R&D to make step forward.
Yeah. You see, I think there's a perception with China. When I grew up, and I grew up in the 70s and 80s, really. If I saw something that said "Made in China," there was always a question over quality, because that was the real build up of Chinese manufacturing at that point. And I think it's fair to say there was a lot of low quality low-grade quality
It
stuff
was.
coming out of China. That was the case, perhaps. Maybe a lack of originality at that point. Maybe that's kind of the situation with cars until more recently. But I think that's changed. I really think that's changed.
Of course.
Yeah, that would be my first
Apple,
argument.
Sony are manufacturing their goods in China, right? Of
Yeah.
course, now they're moving because of the different politic situation, right?
Yeah.
They're moving to India, but still, you have a high quality goods from China, for sure.
Yeah, well, you do, and if you look
But
at
I think it's more simplified in a way of electronic things than automotive, because you have in automotive you have a mechanics and also electronics, right?
That's true, and that's a good point. But I think what we're seeing at the moment is this move. I think innovation is much faster than it was. I think software integration, for obvious reasons, because there is a heavy background in software integration, that is much better than it was. And I think that development cycles seem to be much faster. Now, the reasons for that, you can argue, but they're certainly faster than Western counterparts.
It
I
looks
would
like.
argue.
It looks like.
It certainly seems that way. So, I think to an extent, kind of bashing Chinese cars, maybe it has historically been, maybe there was a lot of copy-paste, a lot of cut and paste, a lot of copying going on.
Well, there's a specific marketing strategy.
Less so now.
See, they're trying to be more than European cars are in a meaning of design, right? But I don't think so. Under the hood is the same still.
Well,
You have a nice interior. You have a lot of screens, which make it looks like a modern and highly sophisticated technology device, right?
Yeah.
But it's only
All the bells and whistles, all the innovations.
but nothing behind.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm also in the spare part business, so it's not my part of the industry, okay, but I know that they are using the solutions from the Japanese and Korean suspensions from the 90s. Even you cannot feel it. If you're driving 60 in a city, it doesn't matter, right? But if you'll try to ride this car on a highway, 120, 140, 150, and maybe you will need to stop or make a just sudden move.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. Okay. There's an argument there. I mean, it's a line between what could be a really smart feature or just
But
distraction.
this is not this is also
in cars.
important not about the Chinese cars, but to take a closer look at the brand new Nissan Patrol here on the market, right? Take a closer look at the brakes. That's why that's one of the reasons that this car doesn't have a homologation for the other markets. Because here in the Middle East, you don't drive fast. You cannot get a homologation for this car for Germany. When you have some part of the highways without a speed limit.
Okay.
You have a 3.5 ton huge car without the proper brakes.
For speed, you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, as a 4x4 for desert driving, the Nissan Patrol
At the end
is
of
a
the
different
story,
proposition.
there is a profit, right? There is a profit. So if you can do it, you'll do it.
All right, then. So let's look at the speed at which Chinese manufacturers can release new cars. What's the industry standard seems to be something like 4 years to integrate a new model. That's generally accepted, right?
Yeah.
4 years is around the time. For Chinese cars, it seems to be about 1.5. It's so much faster to get to market.
Let's move to another industry.
Okay.
Aviation.
Okay.
They're trying to do a proper flying, reliable airplane for civil communication, right?
Yeah.
What's the problem? The engine. You cannot match the Rolls-Royce or Pratt & Whitney solutions.
Okay.
So I think it's a long way. Maybe within 5, maybe 10 years, they will be able to do it. In the same, but not so huge way, you have a situation in the automotive industry. They have to learn. They cannot copy and paste. If they short the time they need to develop a new solution, it will fail for sure. It's like you have two guys, right? One of them has a knowledge, another has an experience. Which one is better?
But this is the thing, isn't it? Knowledge trumps everything. I get you. But, you know, the simple fact is things are much faster. And in a world that moves at the pace that the world moves now, there is room for that. And I agree with you, because I wonder about the risks that there are to safety when cycles are that much faster. You know, long-term quality assurance. That's a question that hangs, I think.
Yeah.
Traditional automakers, long-standing safety and testing protocols. Okay, so how do legacy brands keep up with fast-paced innovation without compromising reliability?
I think the European brands are aiming to the different target of the customers. They know they will lose for the cheap automotive solutions. That's why even the Mercedes cutting off the lowest models, aiming to the S-Class, Maybach, G-Class, this cars. They give us also the field for competition on their market with Audi, Porsche, and BMW, but they don't need to compete with Chinese brands. That's the only solution for them. The problem is with the low market brands from Europe, like you have a Renault, Peugeot.
Yeah,
they have a serious problem. Fiat.
Well, see, I'm wondering about this, because if you've got Chinese Chinese vehicles, let's just say, if they've got great software and they've got great features and they look good and the price point is lower, how much does brand heritage, the legacy brand, the strength of it, how much does that help you?
I wouldn't be so optimistic in all those advantages you said. Good looking, okay.
But for most people,
Okay, but the software. What about the software? What's the main advantage of Tesla? The software.
Yeah. Well, see, we've had this discussion before about Chinese software. I said to you, I bought an Honor tablet a while ago, which actually I'm going to negate I've not used as much recently because I've gone back to a laptop, but it's really, really good, and I was really impressed. And a couple of people had warned me off the software.
Have you heard that they want to skip the Android Auto and CarPlay in Chinese cars?
To go straight with Huawei and other developers. Yeah,
it's a bit ridiculous.
But for international markets, how much would you do that? You to send Chinese cars to the American market, for example, and you don't offer an Android connection or Apple CarPlay, whatever it's called, that's not going to work. You're going to have to do it. It's going to have to go back.
Even Tesla now jumping into this sandbox with the Apple.
Yeah. But it's what you have to do to survive.
You can add additional options, but you should not skip the most popular ones.
What about batteries? Because Chinese manufacturers of battery tech are starting to move to solid-state batteries, sodium-ion batteries, more reliable batteries. They have control over
reliable?
Much of
What means reliable?
In terms of you can charge them reliably and they last for longer.
You can charge them faster.
Faster and perhaps longer.
They last longer.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean they are reliable.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that they're not. That's the point, isn't it? The tech is getting better and better. China have control of lots of the raw material supply chain as well.
Okay.
So, potentially that means that the tech is going to be slightly cheaper over time.
Did you ever think that's the kind of propaganda?
Some of it might be, but there is certainly some truth to it as well.
Don't you
Not
think
everything's a conspiracy theory.
The rest of the world would leave it as is?
I go back to my tablet argument again. I have a battery in there that I have yet to run down, and I never charge the thing, but it's really impressive. Whereas my Smartphone, yeah, still not the case. Maybe I use it a bit more. I give you that, but it's very easy for us to be like, oh, Chinese brand's not as good. But my experience is a bit more positive.
They're doing many small inventions which are good for the many industries,
Right.
but overall, it's too early, in my opinion.
Okay. That's fair.
It will happen. It will happen for sure, but not now.
Not at the moment. But so you would be quite positive going forward a few years. In future, you see a place.
My friend went to one of the most popular brands here because his wife asked him to buy Defender looking like car, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He started the car, he did the test drive, and asked her, honey, do you want another lawn mower in our house?
Okay.
It's there is no engine, there is no real quality, there is no proper handling on the road. Of course, he's a guy who's using the serious cars, right? He has a daily Lamborghini also, so he can appreciate a proper handling. Maybe it's not a good idea to follow his advices, but he says true.
You see, I would argue in that case that I probably wouldn't notice because I'm not a daily Lamborghini driver.
Okay.
If I was to get into that
Okay.
particular car, I'd be similar. I'd be like, oh, this looks good, drives okay. I'm not sure I would know the difference.
I'm not talking about the driving Lamborghini like for show off, right?
I don't mean that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not that much of a car guy. So if you said to me, right, you try that and put that next to, X different models, I'm not sure I can tell the difference.
I'm doing such a kind of experiments with my wife.
Okay.
She's obsessed about the driving. She loves to drive.
Yeah.
And for example, we were going somewhere, and I told her, okay, I bring our car back home. So bring this car and park it nearby. Okay, no problem. It was Audi, as far as I remember, RS7. Okay.
Okay.
I asked her, how was the car? It's amazing. Why? It's amazing. The reaction, the brakes, everything. You know what's the price? Doesn't matter. It drives.
Okay.
Okay. So it's like I'm giving you to taste kind of dish. I'm not telling you what it is. Then I'm asking you about the opinion. Then I'm trying to explain why it's so good. Not because it costs 2 million. It's good. No.
Yeah, well, that's the ultimate way to test something, isn't it? Without knowing the price, then you understand the value.
Yeah.
Rather than the price. Yeah. No, that makes some sense. We're nearly out of time, unfortunately. I wanted to bring something else to you. I always like having backwards and forwards. But this is interesting, and I know you've seen this story, all about electric cars from China at the moment, and we're going the other way. There's the new Audi E7X is about to debut. Now,
Which looks like a Chinese car.
looks like a Chinese car.
It's like a Chinese car with an Audi brand.
It is, but it's not even the Audi brand, is it?
Yeah.
Because the four rings are not there. It's Audi. Even the brand is different because it's for the Chinese market. Maybe in the long run it could be
Maybe it is
other markets.
just a slightly modified Chinese car with the Audi brand taken just to speed up the sales.
It's a collaboration with SAIC, so it's like a sister brand. So German engineering, Chinese tech, really, and it's their second car.
I've heard about similar situation with the Volkswagen, so I think it's a next step because it's the same concern.
Yeah, well, exactly. Taking the car brands the other way, I suppose, and I suppose that means they're going to come back the other way again, if you like. But this is a new SUV. It's big. Great big car, should have some good legroom. 230 kilometers an hour, two different engines, either twin or single electric engine. Good charging, powerful. 320 kilometers in just 10 minutes of charging, they say, and 600 or something. And inside
800 volts installation.
800 volts installation, exactly right. 27-inch 4K screen inside. I knew that would make you laugh. Covers a huge amount of the dashboard. That just stood out to me. But it's interesting, isn't it? That Audi are going the other way.
I told you after when my car is in the garage now, I'm using the analog cars still,
Yeah.
and they have analog gauges.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I
I'm trying to forget about the screens.
Yeah, I'm a gauge guy. But look, I'm driving around in an old Jeep that bits fall off it when you go around a corner, so I'm not the guy to talk to. Do you know, Jacek Ziomek is from XMotors here in Dubai. Hypercars, Supercars, and a lot more. You are what I would call a petrol head. And that's a compliment as well.
Thank you.
Very nice to see you. Appreciate you coming
Thank you.
in. That's another edition of Luxury Breaks.